Class 12th English 1.1 An Astrologer's Day Question and Answers. A1. 1. Given below are some descriptions. Discuss them with your partner and find out one word for each of them. An example is given for you. A. The scientific study of the universe and the objects in it, including stars, planets, nebulae, and galaxies. Astronomy. B. The study of the movements of the planets, sun, moon, and stars in the belief that these movements can have an influence on people's lives. Astrology. C. A prediction of what will happen in the future. Prophecy. D. Scientific discipline that studies mental states and processes and behavior in humans and other animals. Psychology. 2. In the story, we are told that the town hall park was a remarkable place in many ways for the astrologer to build his business. Discuss it in a group and list the exceptional qualities of the place. Answer. 1. A surging crowd. 2. Shoppers in large numbers. 3. A variety of traders. 4. People with various occupations. 5. Access to faint light from nearby shops at night. 6. It was a bustling marketplace. 3. The astrologer never opened his mouth till the other had spoken for at least 10 minutes. Discuss the reasons behind his act. Answer. 1. He is good at reading the people. 2. He needs to buy time to frame his answers to the questions of his clients. 3. He uses the time to weigh the client's concerns against the working analysis of human problems that he is an expert at. 4. He possibly takes his time to impress on the client that he is working hard to resolve the latter's problem. A2. 1. The tactics used by the astrologer to earn his wages are. Answer. The tactics. 1. Analysis of human troubles. 2. Charming appearance. 3. Saying pleasant things to clients. 4. Practicing at a busy marketplace. 2. An astrologer's appearance helps to create an impression on his clients. Complete the following. Answer. A. The turban on his head. B. Sacred ash and vermilion on his forehead. C. Eyes sparkling with sharp abnormal gleam. D. Dark whiskers that stream down his cheeks. 3. Read the following sentences and choose the correct one. A. The astrologer says that if Nayak does not leave his village again, he would 1. Return the money. 2. Not face danger. 3. Go back home and stop looking for the man who tried to kill him. 4. Not find the killer. Answer. Not face danger. B. According to the narrator, the astrologer's success in his profession is primarily due to 1. Luck. 2. The bargains he drives. 3. His appearance. 4. His understanding of people. Answer. His understanding of people. C. The story suggests that the astrologer's comments and observations please people by 1. Promising them success and good fortune. 2. Proving, as time passes, to have been true. 3. Flattering them or supporting their own views. 4. Helping them to learn to solve their own problems. Answer. Flattering them or supporting their own views. D. Guru Nayak consults the astrologer because he wants to 1. Understand the past. 2. Find out who the astrologer is. 3. Make some money through a bet. 4. Get the answer to a specific question. Answer. Get the answer to a specific question. E. Guru Nayak is looking for the man who tried to kill him. 1. To take revenge. 2. To get an apology. 3. To demand an explanation. 4. To prove that the man was unsuccessful. Answer. To take revenge. F. The astrologer's remark makes Guru Nayak feel all of the following except 1. Relieved. 2. Suspicious. 3. Impressed. 4. Disappointed. Answer. Suspicious. G. Reactions of the astrologer's wife to his news suggest that she 1. Was unaware of his past. 2. Has been worried about his safety. 3. Has known him since he was young. 4. Is concerned about her future with him. Answer. Was unaware of his past. 4. Read the following sentences and find out true and false sentences. Correct the false sentences. A. The astrologer gave a correct prediction to the client about his past, that he was stabbed, thrown into a well, and left for dead. Answer. True. B. When the astrologer came to know that the man whom he killed is alive, he felt that he was relieved of his guilt. Answer. True. C. The astrologer tried to back out of the deal and talked about the client's past. Answer. False. D. The astrologer rescued himself from Guru Nayak's revenge. Answer. True. E. The moral of the story is that we must be responsible about what we have done and should not run away from our mistakes. Answer. True. 5. The astrologer has changed his appearance and his persona when he arrived in the city. Give specific reasons. Answer. The astrologer had moved out from his native village to the city after attempting to kill a man whom he had left for dead. He had to disguise his true identity to avoid being caught. Also, he had to make a living and begin a new life in the city after escaping from his village. For these reasons, the astrologer had to change his appearance and persona when he arrived in the city. 6. The darkness load that was inside the astrologer has disappeared. Through this sentence, explain the significance of the title and astrologer's day. Answer. The sentence, the darkness load that was inside the astrologer has disappeared, directly relates to the title and astrologer's day. The title seems to reflect two aspects of the astrologer's life. The first is that of a typical workday in the life of the astrologer. However, the second aspect is what the given sentence captures: the importance of the particular day in the astrologer's life. On the said day, the astrologer found out that a man whom he had attempted to kill way back and left for dead had actually survived. This finding must have relieved the astrologer of the guilt of committing a murder. Also, that day, the astrologer had tricked the stranger into believing that the man who had left him for dead after attempting to kill him had himself died in an accident, and hence the latter did not have to search for him anymore to seek revenge. This must have provided the astrologer with further relief and assured him to breathe easier. 7. The astrologer feels relieved to know that Guru is not dead, as it reduces a great burden from him. Critically justify the statement and explain it. Answer. The astrologer feels relieved to discover that Guru is not dead. This is so because the astrologer had attempted to kill Guru in his early age and left him for dead. To know that Guru isn't dead must have acquitted him of the guilt of being an assassin. Hence, it unburdened him from the prick of conscience. 8. The astrologer gets the sympathy of criticism of the reader in the end. Express your opinion with the support of the main story. Answer. The story portrays the astrologer as a false fortune teller with no real knowledge of his profession. He attracts clients by his street-smart ways and also manages to convince them by sweet-talking to them. Moreover, he is revealed to the reader as a near murderer towards the end of the story. However, despite all this, it's difficult to judge the astrologer as a negative character, and he rather manages to win the sympathy of the reader's criticism. This is so because firstly, he has to make a living in the new city after he fled his village for fear of being caught. So, in the absence of any other skill, he must have had to adopt astrology as a livelihood under distress and not by choice. Secondly, He had to trick the stranger into believing that the man whom he was looking out for had already died in an accident, so as to protect his own life. Again, he can't be judged badly on this count, because he couldn't have afforded to lose his own life at the hands of the stranger by revealing him his true identity. Since he had his wife and child to support too, it made him lie to the stranger in order to keep himself out of harm's way. 9. If we have to eradicate the superstitions and other ill practices from our society, what steps would you like to suggest? Answer. In order to eradicate the superstitions and other evil practices from our society, I would first suggest taking steps to promote rational outlook amongst people. I would like to educate the masses and expose the bluff behind obscure and orthodox practices. Although I wouldn't go all out against all traditional practices, some of them could have a valid basis. However, I would spread awareness among everyone in my social circles to keep a scientific temper and think logically, rather than blindly following superstitions. I could possibly even tell them about the reasons for which some superstitions held good in ancient ages but are no longer valid. 10. In the story, Astrologer has a great listening power. Listening helps in developing good relations with people. Express your opinion. Answer. Listening, as differentiated from hearing, is about consciously understanding and applying one's mind to what is heard. As the story illustrates, being a good listener helps one to fare better in any activity that one takes up. The astrologer isn't knowledgeable of his work, but still manages to convince his customers and make his living owing to his great listening skills. He establishes a rapport with his clients by just listening to them for a few minutes without uttering a word, while analyzing their troubles and simultaneously composing his talk and answers to the clients. This helps him to mask his own shortcomings and succeed in his work where he would otherwise not have. Hence, great listening power is a strong skill set we all should develop. A3. 1. In the story, the following characters reveal their qualities through words and actions. Pick out the words that describe them from the box and write in the appropriate columns. Answer. Two. Match the suffixes with the words and make nouns. 1 is done for you. Answer. 3. An astrologer's day has ironic elements where the astrologer pretends to have supernatural knowledge that coincidentally turns out to be the truth. Irony means a situation or statement characterized by significant difference between what is expected and what actually happens, or between what is understood and what is meant. Find out the examples of irony from the story and write them down. 1 has been done for you. Answer. A. He knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself the next minute. B. The stranger consults the astrologer to know about the man who had attempted to kill him many years ago, and the astrologer himself happens to be the culprit. C. The astrologer has no real knowledge of his work, but he succeeds in making a living from it. D. He was as much a stranger to the stars as were his innocent customers. 4. In the story, many Indian words are used. Cowrie shells. This is an example of code mixing. Find out other such words from the story and write them down. Answer. Cherut, Pais, Judka, Pyol, Annas. 5. There are some phrases where the word crown is used with different shades of meaning. Use the following phrases to complete the sentences meaningfully. 1 is done for you. Crowning achievement, to crown the effect, crown of thorns, crowning glory, to crown it all. To crown the effect, he wound a saffron-colored turban around his head. Answer. A. The works of Shakespeare are the crowning glory of English drama. B. Amitabh has given us awesome movies throughout 5 decades. But his crowning achievement is his performance in the movie Black. C. In her pursuit of success, Radha has distanced herself from her family. Her fame has become a real crown of thorns. D. They threw a wonderful party for me with costumes, games, and to crown it, all my favorite kind of ice cream. E. Medical science has great inventions, but organ transplantation is definitely a crowning achievement for human beings. A4. 1. Word usage. Use the words given in the brackets and rewrite the sentences. A. The power of his eyes was considerably enhanced. Enhancement. Answer. There was a considerable enhancement in the power of his eyes. B. He had a working analysis of mankind's troubles. Worked. Answer. He had an analysis of mankind's troubles that worked. C. He knew what was going to happen to himself next minute. Happening. Answer. He knew what will be happening to himself next minute. D. If you find my answers satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? Satisfaction. Answer. If you find satisfaction in my answers, will you give me 5 rupees? E. He shook his head regretfully. Regret. Answer. He shook his head with regret. F. It was a bewildering crisscross of light rays. Bewildered. Answer. The crisscross of light rays left everyone bewildered. G. I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well, exclaimed the other, overwhelmed by enthusiasm. Enthusiastically. Answer. I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well, exclaimed the other enthusiastically. H. You tried to kill him. Killing. Answer. You tried killing him. I will prepare some nice stuff for her. Preparation. Answer. I will begin the preparation of some nice stuff for her. J. The other groaned on hearing it. Heard. Answer. The other groaned when he heard it. A5. 1. Prepare a speech on science and superstitions. Answer. Science and superstitions. Good morning, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends. Today, I am going to speak on the topic science and superstitions. Science is based on facts, experiments, and proof. It helps us understand the world and has made our lives easier through inventions and discoveries. On the other hand, superstitions are based on blind beliefs and fear. Many people follow them without knowing whether they are true or not. Science teaches us to think logically and ask questions. It encourages us to find reasons behind things. Superstitions, however, often stop people from thinking rationally and may create unnecessary fear. We should respect our traditions, but we must not believe everything without proof. By following scientific thinking, we can make better decisions and help society progress. Thank you for listening patiently. 2. Read the following proverbs. Share your views and expand the ideas. A. Actions speak louder than words. Answer. Actions speak louder than words. This proverb means that what we do is more important than what we say. Anyone can make promises or talk about great plans, but their true character is shown by their actions. People trust those who keep their promises and work hard to achieve their goals. Actions show honesty, responsibility, and dedication. For example, a person may talk about helping others, but if he never helps anyone, his words have no value. On the other hand, a person who quietly helps people earns respect and trust through his actions. Therefore, actions have a greater impact than words. We should focus on doing good deeds rather than only talking about them. B. The face is the index of the mind. Answer. The face is the index of the mind. This proverb means that a person's face often reveals what is going on in his or her mind. Our thoughts, feelings, and emotions are reflected through our facial expressions. When a person is happy, the face shows joy and confidence. When a person is sad, worried, or angry, these feelings can also be seen on the face. Even if someone tries to hide emotions, facial expressions often tell the truth. For example, a student who is confident before an examination usually appears calm and cheerful, while a nervous student may look tense and worried. In the same way, kindness, honesty, and peace of mind are often reflected on a person's face. Therefore, the face can be called the mirror of the mind because it gives us clues about a person's thoughts and feelings. C. Speech is silver and silence is golden. Answer. Speech is silver and silence is golden. This proverb means that speaking is valuable, but knowing when to remain silent is even more valuable. Words help us express our thoughts, share knowledge, and communicate with others. Good speech can inspire, guide, and solve problems. However, speaking too much or at the wrong time may create misunderstandings and conflicts. Silence gives us time to think carefully before we speak. It helps us listen to others, understand situations better, and make wise decisions. A person who knows when to speak and when to remain silent is often respected by others. For example, during an argument, staying calm and silent for a while can prevent unnecessary quarrels. Thus, while speech is important, silence is often more powerful and beneficial. Therefore, silence is truly golden. D. Argument is the worst kind of communication. Answer. Argument is the worst kind of communication. This proverb teaches us that arguments are not the best way to solve problems or express our opinions. Communication helps people share their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. However, when a discussion turns into an argument, people often stop listening to each other. Instead, they become angry and try to prove that they are right. This can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and damaged relationships. A calm and respectful conversation is much more effective than an argument. When people listen patiently and speak politely, they can understand different points of view and find solutions to problems. For example, friends who disagree can solve their differences through discussion rather than fighting. Therefore, we should avoid unnecessary arguments and communicate with patience, understanding, and respect. E. Attitudes are the real figures of speech. Answer. Attitudes are the real figures of speech. This proverb means that a person's attitude speaks more clearly than words. People may use beautiful language and impressive words, but their attitude shows their true nature. A kind and positive attitude makes a person pleasant and respectful, while a negative attitude can create problems, even if the words spoken are polite. Our attitude influences the way we think, behave, and treat others. It is reflected in our actions, expressions, and behavior. Therefore, people often judge us more by our attitude than by our words. For example, a student who is hardworking, respectful, and willing to learn is appreciated by teachers and friends. Such a positive attitude helps a person succeed in life. Thus, words may describe a person, but attitude truly defines who that person is. F. The wise man has long ears and a short tongue. Answer. The wise man has long ears and a short tongue. This proverb means that a wise person listens more and speaks less. A wise person listens carefully and tries to understand information fully before responding. This helps him or her think properly and form correct opinions. Such a person does not react quickly but takes time to understand situations, which makes their words more meaningful and effective. Speaking only when necessary is a sign of self-control. Short and thoughtful speech attracts attention because it is clear and to the point. On the other hand, speaking too much can lead to confusion and mistakes. Listening also helps in learning new things and gaining knowledge from others. This is why nature has given us two ears and one mouth, to remind us that we should listen more and speak less. Thus, wisdom lies in balancing listening and speaking, and using words carefully. A6. 1. Bill Norton has written a collection of wonderful stories which you can read in his book The Goalkeeper's Revenge and Other Stories. Read all the stories and discuss their themes with your partner. Answer. Themes of The Goalkeeper's Revenge and Other Stories. The Goalkeeper's Revenge and Other Stories by Bill Norton is a collection of short stories that deal with important life lessons. The main themes in these stories include social class differences, childhood and growing up, fear, curiosity, and the importance of fairness and justice. Many stories show how children face different emotional and social challenges in everyday life. For example, some stories highlight how poor and working class families feel out of place in rich surroundings, while others show how fear, pressure from friends, or curiosity can lead to mistakes. The stories also show how courage, honesty, and understanding help people overcome difficulties. Overall, these stories teach simple but important lessons about life, behavior, and human values. 2. Read R.K. Narayan's humorous collections of short stories and novels. Here are some titles you can read. A. Under the Banyan Tree. B. The Doctor's Word. C. Lolly Road. D. A Horse and Two Goats. E. Gateman's Gift. Answer. Above is a list of books for students to read. It is a practical project. A7. Surf the internet and find out the career opportunities in astronomy. Answer. The following are the career opportunities available in the field of astronomy. 1. Space Technician. 2. Space System Programmer. 3. Energy Researcher. 4. Astrophysicist. 5. Space Medicine Consultant. 6. Research Scientist. 7. University Professor.
Great video. Mom,
Yes.
I found the good channel for study.
Great. Like the video, share it to your school friends. Subscribe to it. But what's the channel's name?
Wings of Fire Academy.